And now let's bring you the conversation on the recovery of stolen funds. And I'm being joined live by my guest, Godswill Jumbo, public affairs analyst and publisher, Kristina Report. Good morning. Glad to have you join me.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, let me just start right away. Now, over 20 years since the death of Sani Abacha, stolen funds are still being returned. What's your take on this?
Very quickly, that is a clear indication of to what extent our nation was ravaged by corruption and is still being ravaged. The abuse of access to public funds by virtue of people occupying positions. Quickly, that's what it indicates. That somebody was able to illegally leverage, access public funds to the extent that several years after his demise, after his exit from public office by virtue of death, we are still recovering monies he looted from the country. And this is just one person. We're not talking of several others. When you look around the country, look at a lot of projects that, turnkey projects, grade A projects, high profile projects, in the region of billions of dollars, not just naira, that are abandoned. And you ask yourself, where are the funds? The funds are hidden somewhere, and then either abroad, offshore, or inshore within the country. We've seen houses where monies are loaded in, rooms just loaded with no furniture, just money. We see septic tanks, we've seen overhead tanks, we've seen all kinds of situations. So what we are seeing is a clear indication that this country is being paralyzed by those who have access to public office and public funds.
I hear you, Godswill, but then concerns have been raised, for instance, over misappropriation of funds in the past. And there's currently a trust gap between the government and the people. How can Nigeria ensure that these return funds are judiciously applied and effectively utilized, for instance, to achieve sustainable development goals?
Okay, I am thinking that, the quick fixes. When you look at a country that has so many laws that are not being implemented, and you see a country where the leadership is always pussyfooting, always dragging their feet, in terms of deploying technology to manage, public sector issues. Why are we still doing cash? Why are we still doing papers? Why are we not? The other time I was talking about electronic voting. Why can't we capture all government activities? Performance, finances, operations, whatever. Why can't we, predicate them on an electronic platform? Imagine that, government activities are, managed with technology. It means every transaction will be electronically captured. Why is it easy today for the EFCC, for the anti-fraud unit of the police, and the ICPC and other agencies to be able to track, fraudsters, to be able to track those who have done something wrong? Because of the deployment of technology. So can we bring technology into government? Can we bring technology into the public sector? If we're able to do that, I'm very sure that it will be a disincentive for people who want to divert public funds. When you know that every transaction you make within the government sphere, that the EFCC will see that transaction, the ICPC will see it, the anti-fraud unit of the police will see it, the DSS will see it, and all other, the NSA's office, the NIA, the Defense Intelligence, everybody.
Mr. Jumbo, if I may just chip in there.
How do you go ahead to steal that money? It will be difficult.
Mr. Jumbo, if I may, to you, what does the willingness of the French government to return stolen funds say about international effort to combat corruption and promote transparency?
Well, I am somebody who is perennially, chronically against neocolonialism. But let me also say, aside my prejudice, aside my bias, I think the international community has been very forthcoming, in curbing corruption in the third world. They have been forthcoming. They have provided the linkages, provided the support systems, provided the necessary resources from their end. But the issue is, are the third world countries leveraging these resources, leveraging these opportunities, leveraging these linkages and support systems that are being provided? That is, the other time the Prime Minister of Great Britain was saying that Nigeria is a fantastically corrupt country, meaning they're taking a stand against it. And then, before this time, a lot of people were rushing to take their funds offshore. Who is doing that now? Our former Minister of Petroleum is being, prosecuted now in the UK, over alleged financial malfeasance. And then the other time it was a former governor of Bayelsa, Alamesia, who had to disguise himself and run away from the UK. And then now look at what the French, are doing. So the international community is ready to assist us, ready to help us. But are we, the third world country, the developing country, who need these funds to drive development, to drive, improvement of the living conditions of our people? Are we ready to leverage these opportunities? That is where the issue is. It is not about the international community. Their systems are anti-corruption driven, and they want to see how they can be able to, get the third world to connect to that. But are our people ready to do that? So for me, I appreciate this effort from, France, and I think it should be sustained. But I think that the Nigerian government needs to up its game in pursuing these funds. If these funds come in, it will help a lot in fixing things around the country.
And
I hear
that's
now
a
that this
fine
particular
place.
fund will be developed for developing SMEs, ICT, and all of that. That's a welcome development.
And that's a fine place to wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time this morning on the news, Mr. Godswill Jumbo, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much.